Would you believe me if I told you that I can fly?
Well, I don't mean to fly literally. What I mean is
To make this autonomous drone that can fly itself on missions without anyone controlling it.
But before we get into that, let me first tell you about myself.
I have always liked the idea of building things, and that is how I got into IT, where I could build networks like this, or code applications and build programs, or even troubleshoot computers, find out what their problems are, and fix those, even though I'm not building them. But after some time, I felt like I still wanted to do more. I wanted to build. Now the question was, what are we going to build? Well, I had to think, I pondered, and after rigorous thinking, I started to have some ideas. And then that was it. I said, robotics. So I built this rover that can avoid obstacles. It will find its way when it sees an obstacle and avoids it. It was my first project. I had to start from somewhere, even though it wasn't a huge one. But without anyone or anywhere to learn from, I had to do this by myself. And this was an accomplishment, as my first project. So afterwards, I continued on with my work, but again, I felt like I wanted to do more still. And this time, it was the drone. I wanted to build an autonomous drone that could be sent on missions where it will not be controlled. Such drones can be used for drone delivery to deliver stuff from one place to another. It can be used to even transport blood from one hospital to another. It can be used to survey areas for surveillance. It can be used for fishing and a lot more. And believe it or not, the drone finally flew. But unfortunately, it flew for less than a minute. I later realized that it was my electronic speed controller that had an issue, and I had to order some other parts because it crashed.
If you have watched this video this long, I will probably just attach some of the videos I made when I was first making the drones, so that you can see some of the footages and some of the details I shared from those videos. Hello and welcome to this video. Again, I'm Cherno Abdurrahman Chow. So I haven't posted in a while because I actually had a setback. So the first setback I had was the battery. I didn't have the battery with me, which I had to get, and it took some time. So I finally got the battery, and I also have the charger, which I am charging currently. Another issue I was also having is with this receiver or this controller. So what happened is I was using these alkaline batteries, but these batteries were not powerful enough to power it. So whenever I put the batteries inside this controller, almost immediately it will go off. So what I did is I took a cable, a USB cable that you would use to charge your phone. I cut one end of the cable, then I used this wire to connect the positive and the negative here. So then this end of the cable now I will just need to use to connect to my power bank, which I was using to charge my phone, and still I can use it to charge my phone, but also to power this receiver, this controller. So once I connect it and turn it on, now I am able to have power. So this was also a setback. So fortunately I was able to resolve this one. So I was also having an issue with my XT60. As you can see, I got the wrong connector, but I finally got the correct one. That's the one I was just soldering. I just finished soldering it. So from here on now, we will proceed with the build. So stay tuned for what is coming up next. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to this video. As I explained in my last video some of the setbacks I was having, I want to go a bit into details to explain what exactly happened and then what I did afterwards. So the first thing is, like I said, this cable that connects to my power distribution board. When I was receiving this kit, I actually received the female XT60, while the cable that needs to connect from the power distribution board to the battery is actually the XT60 male. So I had to wait for some time before I could receive this cable, which actually was a major setback because this you cannot find here. So the battery as well. The battery also, when I was receiving the kit, I didn't receive it with a battery, which was also another setback. So I had to order this battery. It's a Tonergy 5000 mAh. Yeah. So this is what I plan to use with my drone, and with this battery I can get at least up to 25 to 26 flight time. So as you can see here, this definitely is not advised. But then what happened is, because this is the kind of connector I got, while the one I needed was the XT60. So what I did is I just used these two cables. Of course, I'm not the first to do this. This works, but you just have to be careful to make sure these two ions do not touch. Yeah, so there is it. So I'm charging it, almost done. They are all at 4.0 volts. So again, like I was explaining, the cable that I was using on the power distribution board was a female. So you would see that this connector from the battery is also a female. These are actually connected to it right now. So because it is female, I had to get a male. So that was the reason why I had to wait. So this I have removed and I will use it as a spare. Another issue I was also having was with my soldering iron. So the one I was using earlier, it was not of good quality. Sometimes when soldering, I would find it difficult to actually solder anything. But I got this one today, which actually for now I am very impressed. It is working very well. Again, I'm also happy for the price that I paid for it. I also got the flux, that is the soldering paste, which I would use to at least apply to this soldering lead, and this makes it easier for when soldering for it to hold. Yeah, so basically that is the update we have for you. And the controller, I believe I have also explained the adjustments that I have made. So these batteries that I was using, they were not, they didn't have enough power to power this controller. So that is why I got this power bank, which I was using initially to charge my phone sometimes. So that's what I'm using now to power this controller. Hello again to this video. So here I just wanted to go on a run through before I proceed with any of my build. So as you can see here, I have the drone assembled. So this right here is my power distribution board. This is the lower plate, this is the top plate. So I also have my electronic speed controllers, my ASCs, which I held together with this zip tie. I also have my motors here, and this is my flight controller. This is the Pixel 2.4.8, and this right here is a Raspberry Pi 4B model. And then below it I have my vibration dampener. So this is what will help me so that when the drone is flying, it won't receive any vibration. So this is what will lessen the vibration, and this is indeed very important, because without this, at some point the flight controller could become confused, because let's say when it is vibrating, it could it will seem to it as if it is receiving commands for it to go down, or let's say when you have it at loiter at alt hold mode, it will seem as if it is supposed to go up, because then let's say you hold it at a particular altitude. So when it drops a bit, because of that vibration, it will think that it has actually dropped, and then it needs to adjust, its height. So as a result, you will see that the drone will keep going up and down, and eventually you might lose control of the drone. So that is why it is very important to have this vibration dampener. And yes, so the electronic speed controllers I have connected to the power distribution board. So on this power distribution board, you will see it clearly labeled where the positive and the negative should be connected. So after everything is being connected to the power distribution board, then I also have my power cable, which will go to the battery, and this power cable also has indications of the positive and the negative on the power distribution board. So it is possible, to have a module of a power distribution board where you will do all your soldering instead of using this. But this absolutely is kind of like a conductor, which is faster and easier to use, because I'm just using the board straight away to solder everything on this board. Yeah, so far that is. Hello and welcome to this video again. So like I explained in my previous video, that I am now using my power bank to power this controller. Is a Fly Sky FS i6 controller. So because I made these modifications, in order to close this, I've decided that I would at least cut off this end of the cover, so that the wires would be able to pass through the part that I've cut off, and then I will be able to close it easily. So these are the batteries, the AA batteries that I was using, but they didn't have enough power to power this controller. So as a result, that is why I am using this power bank charger. So this power bank charger is 10,000 mAh, 3.7 watts. So this is more than enough to power this controller for enough time for me to fly this drone and have it down without having any issues. So of course this will take time, but as of now I am trying to see if I could use this scissor to cut this part off. If it doesn't work, no issues, later I will get an appropriate tool that I would use to cut this part off.
Yeah, and that was the journey. That was how I started. That was how I got into it, and that was my progress. So now I have decided that I would start from where I stopped, or possibly start from scratch and get the project completed, done and dusted finally. So follow me as I show you my project when I make my other updates. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is Cherno Abdurrahman Chow from Gambia Entrepreneur. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.